We're going to call this Mayberry Memories,
All right,
episode 1. By the way, this is my brother Steve. I'm Dave. And we're going to talk about some of our favorite Andy Griffith episodes. And today, we're starting with season 1.
Season 1, getting right where it started, right?
Right. Episode 4, though, I believe.
Why did we decide to start with episode 4? Since you're taking the lead on this, why not episode 1?
Well, I'd already done a video on episode 1. That's
All right,
the one
I
where
haven't watched that.
Ampi comes to join the
sounds
family,
good.
and Opie's resistant to that because of all sorts of reasons. But
Sure.
I was reading about this particular episode, season 4, which is Miss Ellie Comes to Town, or Miss Ellie Comes to Mayberry, I can't remember which. But the whole Eleanor Donahue thing is really interesting. The dynamic there between her and Andy, she's got to be probably 10, 15 years younger than Andy
Definitely
Griffith.
a lot younger than Andy.
Right? I'm guessing she was maybe in her early 20s when
I think she was fresh off the role in Father Knows Best, right?
Yeah.
So, definitely younger than Andy.
Right. And here she was. They wanted to, basically, it seems like the direction that the story was going
Romantic interest.
for the Grifter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. He was pouring on the Southern charm, wasn't he?
He was, and then you had the Opie thing where Opie comes in and she buys him a milkshake.
Free ice cream cone.
Yeah. Will you be my new mom? And almost felt like, he was sweet on her. She was sweet on him. It clearly felt like the writers were thinking that this character, Miss Ellie, played by Eleanor Donahue, was going to be like a long-term
player in the show.
But we all know, as huge fans of the Andy Griffith show, that one season gave her the boot.
Did they give her the boot, or did she leave?
They say that it was a mutual decision by both Griffith and Donahue, that neither of them felt like there was that romantic chemistry, or even just a lot of chemistry.
Well, from what I understand, Andy was a little bit concerned about the age difference.
Mm-hmm.
And then she kind of just felt like there really wasn't a lot for the character.
Right. And the way they wrote that character, she was coming from New York. She kind of represented the modern woman, right? She was going to take over.
Grad.
Right. Take over the old man, Smith? I can't remember. Smith.
Yeah, Fred Smith, her uncle, I think.
Fred Smith, take over his drugstore and be the pharmacist there.
Yeah.
And she was a stickler for rules, and clearly you could tell, and I think this manifested itself in future episodes during that first season, that she was more of a liberated woman.
Yes.
And I don't know, you think about Mayberry, you think about where the show went, and you can kind of see why the writers might have said, you know what, this is tangentially going in a direction that maybe we don't want to go. Maybe we don't want to cover women's lib or some of those things.
Well, back in the early 60s, I think that was 1960 or 61, that first season.
Right.
Probably not a lot of women were working, right? She's a professional, just graduated college. She has a PhD. She hangs on the wall, and you make some sort of comment about she's a pharmacist gal.
Yeah,
right.
That's what the PhD.
He calls it a PhD, pharmacy gal.
Right.
And it definitely, the direction she was heading with the show didn't fit the old country, small town feel with, what kind of sheriff feels like he can open up a store and start handing out the meds?
Right.
Well, only Sheriff Taylor does that.
Only Sheriff Andy Taylor. So a little bit of Barney Fife in this episode, but not a ton.
Not a ton. He always probably steals the show when he's in it.
He does.
He's my favorite character by far.
And I think that's where the chemistry really went, despite the fact that later on Helen Crump became a character for Andy to become romantically involved in. Really, come on. This show is a bromance.
Really
between
is.
the two cousins.
I don't know if I'd go bromance, but it's definitely
they're
best friends. Yes.
Between Andy and Barney.
And the chemistry between those two actors is what makes the show great.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think
of course the cuteness of little Opie Cunningham is
Opie Cunningham.
Opie Cunningham.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy used to call him.
Yep.
But yeah, he's such a cute kid in those first few seasons.
Right. And Eleanor Donahue, she went on to bigger and better things, right?
Well, I think so.
Yeah, starring for 2 seasons on Fox TV in the 90s with Chris Elliott in probably the greatest television situation comedy, at least the most subverse, right?
It's a great
of
show.
all time. Get a life.
And we're now in the dark.
Yep.
There we go. We got some movement. Get the lights going.
Darn motion activated lights. They're the worst. So anyway, she played Chris's mom.
Yeah.
Along with Chris's real dad played his
Usually
dad.
in the kitchen is where you
they
saw
would
them.
be in the kitchen having coffee, reading the newspaper, complaining about their ne'er-do-well son.
The first season of Get a Life was great, and then it went downhill.
I loved them both, but I do agree that the first season was way better than the second one. So it's time for a revival. I mean, they're bringing back Roseanne, and they're bringing back.
Bring back Get a Life.
They should bring back.
He's still living in the garage
Get a
above
Life.
his
Chris
truck.
Peterson, we need you. But anyway, back to that episode of Andy Griffith, episode
It's
4.
a good. The whole first season's fantastic.
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
First couple seasons are the best. They're classics. There's a reason they're still popular today, and people love them. And that episode, captures the spirit of the whole show.
Sure does.
It's great.
Sure does. They just needed to do a little more fine tuning.
They did.
All right, we'll be back.
Fantastic.
Probably do
Thanks.
another
Thanks
episode
for
in a couple of
inviting me,
weeks.
yeah.
Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it. Always fun to hang out with my brother a little bit, and another one in the can. Thanks everybody for watching. If you would, we'd love to get your comments, your thoughts in the section below. Just also while you're at it, always love a thumbs up and a subscribe if you're not currently subscribed to the channel. But most importantly, as always, thanks for watching.
Have a good day.